Yo, alright guys, look, welcome back to part 2 of how I made money using Asus routers. If you haven't seen part 1, you do need to go back and watch it, otherwise you're not going to understand what the heck I'm talking about in this one. But yeah, I'll put the link in the description, so be sure to check it out. Okay, now, basically, I left off last time talking about how I had bought 3 routers already, and that was really weird. Most people buy one, and I got a bit of a strange look from the people that were actually at the computer store when I said I wanted to buy 3 of these particular routers. And these were the RTN56Us, and they were like, yeah, okay, why the heck do you want 3 of these routers? They're 200 bucks each. That's like $600. And I was like, yep, I want 3. And shortly afterwards, I took photos of the barcodes and stuff, and then sent them back, and got my full refund. And I was like, ooh, that's a bit strange. Like it was hard. It was hard to look them straight in the eye and not like laugh and not like really like break down and think, what the heck am I doing? This is crazy. But I did it. With 3 routers, it wasn't too hard. But then I had this brilliant idea, and I said, well, why am I only doing this with 3? There's like a week left of this promotion. Maybe I can just buy like heaps of them. Like, let's see how much I can buy. I've got this credit card that's like got, $2,000, $3,000 or something, where I can just spend on it as much as I want. All I have to do is just buy this stuff. As long as I can sort of pull it off and, go to the store and say I want to buy 6 routers from your store, or however many they had in stock, then, I was away. I was like ready to go. I could do it. So I just needed the courage to do it. And sure enough, I had the courage. I found it, and I thought, man, I can make some serious money here doing nothing, pretty much. So why not? And that really drove me to do it, and so I did it. And so what I did is I rocked up to that store that I had bought the 3 from. That was all they had, so I didn't go back to that same store, but I did go to a different store. I first looked, checked online to see how many like routers people had in stock, and I called around and stuff first. And pretty much started with all the local computer stores, ones that were close by, so I didn't have to go too far away. But a lot of people didn't have them, but some stores did, and one store in particular, which wasn't too far away from me, had 6. Yeah, they had actually 6 of these routers in stock. So I was like, oh man, this is going to be nuts. Go into the store and actually like ask to buy 6 of these things. Remember guys, that's $1,200 just on routers. That's computer routers. Stuff that most people don't buy like more than one of. Sometimes someone would buy 2. So I said, oh man, I'm going to do it. Let's do it. I worked myself up. I had some hype, like got myself all hyped up. And so that's what I did. I went over to the computer store, and I rocked up, and I sort of went in and I said, look, I'd like to buy your RTN56U routers. And they were like, oh, it's okay, cool. How many do you want? I was like, oh, how many have you got? And they're like, oh, we got 6. And I was like, okay, I'll buy all 6. And I just stood there, looking them straight in the face. And they just looked at me back and they were like, you want all 6? And I said, yeah, all 6. I'll take them all. And he's like, okay. And so then he went off and talked to his boss or something. And I mean, obviously they said it's all right. They were happy to sell all 6. As soon as I said I wanted all 6, and after they got over the initial shock, they were really happy to help me out. They were like, hell yeah, this guy's gonna buy all of our stock of routers. For a computer store, that's just awesome. And I might add that before I did any of this stuff, okay, guys, because obviously this was a huge risk. I mean, what if I bought 6 routers and spent like $1,000 on these things, and then I couldn't return them? And that was definitely something that I was thinking about continuously throughout the whole time I was doing this, at every store that I bought these routers from. And I was thinking to myself, that would suck. Like I'd be out of 1,200 routers. I mean, at the end of the day, you can always sell them on like eBay and stuff, but you wouldn't get all your money back, and it might not even be worth doing. At the end of the day, after eBay takes all their fees and blah blah blah, the $50 gift voucher that you get may not actually cover all the costs, from like eBay taking their fees and PayPal taking their fees, and you might not end up selling it for as much as you bought it for, despite being new and sealed, never used before. Obviously, all I was doing was taking photos of the barcode, so I'd never opened them or anything like that. So it may not have actually been worth it, and I may have still ended up losing money even after getting a $50 gift voucher. So, it was something I was definitely worried about. But that's why what I did is before I went to any of these stores, I actually checked and made sure. I double checked, triple checked, called up all the people, called the people, spoke to them on the phone, checked their terms and conditions on their website and stuff to make sure that they actually had a 7-day, no questions asked return policy. Before I did any of that. Otherwise, I was going to be stuffed. So that really narrowed it down. There were only a few stores that actually had those policies, and so that's why I couldn't really find too many stores that could fulfill this little venture of mine and allow me to do this. But like I said, I found this store that had 6, and I bought it from them, and then I walked out with a huge box. They actually put them all into a box full of these routers. Like there were 6 of them. And, the boxes are pretty big. So it was a huge box of big boxes. And I just walked out, out the front door happily with a big smile on my face of all these routers. And like I said, they were happy to help me out and sell these routers to me because, they were getting rid of all their inventory. So why not? And the thing is, what I did is when they actually did ask me why I was buying all these routers. And the excuse I continuously used was that I was setting up a huge LAN party for a very large conference down south, which is like just a really generic, but very believable story. And they believed it. I even like got on the phone to them and stuff because I got onto the phone. I like pretended to be on the phone with my boss while I was in the store to like negotiate a price with him of how much I should be paying for them all and stuff. It really worked out. It was obviously a one-way conversation. I wasn't actually talking to anyone, but I did it so convincingly. I put on this awesome show, and it worked. Like these guys believed me. They outright believed me. And at the end of the day, I mean, like it was worth it, right? I made like I think it was about $900 actually at the end of the day overall. So anyway, I did this with this one store. I bought 6 of them, and then I went home and I said, well, man, that was like. I was like pumped. I was like adrenaline was going and stuff. I was like, man, why stop here? Let's buy more. So I went to another store and I did the same thing. And then another store after that and I did the same thing. But I didn't buy 6. I bought 6 from one store. That was that one that I was just talking about. But another store I only bought something like 3. And another store I bought, I don't know, 2 or something like that. So because that's all they had. Otherwise I probably would have bought more as well. But anyway, at the end of the day, I think I bought up to about 12 or 13 of these things. Of these particular models. But while I was in the store of one of them, I noticed that because they had like this promotion sort of advertised in one of the stores, and they said, buy an Asus router and get $50 gift card cash back or something. But while I was in that store where it said that, I noticed that there was another model of the same, or like a different router, but from Asus as well, that said the same thing. Like you can get a gift card back if you buy it, except it wasn't a $50 gift card, it was a $30 gift card. So I was like, oh, what? I didn't know about this. So then I went back and I thought, well, hang on a second. I mean, I could do this with all the RTN56Us, but there was also the RTN16, which was a different model router, like I said. And this one was $30. So I was like, well, man, I can do this. So I went back to all the stores that I had been to previously. Actually, no, I didn't. Sorry, my mistake. I went back to different stores that had those routers because they didn't necessarily have both routers, some of the stores. So I went to different stores and I bought up. Again, I did the same sort of deal, except this time I bought only a total of about 11. Only 11. I mean, it's still heaps, right? But yeah, I bought about 11 of them, and I, bought all those and did the same thing and told them it was for a LAN party and blah blah blah. Sort of really grifted my way through it, and convincingly, like I said, they believed me and stuff. But buying it is not a big deal. It's when you had to return it, and that was the hard part. So anyway, at the end of the day, I had bought something like 12 of these RTN56Us, which are the $50 ones. And I think I bought about 9 or maybe 10, I'm not sure, or 11. I can't remember exactly. But it was quite a lot of those other ones as well that had the $30 gift vouchers. And remember now, I was doing all this at the very, very end of the promotion time period. So if anyone did buy those routers like a week later, they wouldn't have been able to redeem it anyway because the promotion would have ended. So that's what was keeping me, that was allowing me to sleep at night basically, because I mean, otherwise I would have been really, really guilty. I would have felt really, really bad. But yeah, so that's what I did, and I bought all those ones, and then I returned all those, and it was cool. But then returning them all was the big deal. I just said just then that I returned them all, and that was the hard part. Imagine going back. I mean, what excuse would you use? You've got like, I bought, for example, from one store, six routers from one store, and I came back with this huge box in my arms with all these routers that were unopened, and I said, yeah, I got to return these routers. And they sort of like, sick, because they really don't want to return those routers. But like I said, I checked all their policies beforehand, and I made sure that they had to return them. Like if they weren't opened and stuff, I looked at all their policies, and they said, if it's not opened and you've never used it, and it's within like 7 days of purchasing or whatever it was, you can return it and we'll give you your money back. But man, did they not want to give me my money back, like so much. And understandably so. It was like, they were so happy to get rid of all this stock that probably wasn't moving at $200 each. But here I was that bought all of them from the same store, and now I was returning them all. So they really, really, really didn't want to do that. But again, they had to. And I said to them, look, it says like 7-day money back guarantee, I said like the LAN party fell through. It's not happening anymore, so I don't need these routers anymore. And so they said, oh, okay. I mean, at the end of the day, it wouldn't have mattered what reason I gave to them. They would have had to give me my money back because that was their policy. And sure enough, they did. And my credit card was very, very happy. And yeah, I think I'll just finish it up in the next video, guys. So thanks for watching. There is more to it, so stay tuned.